people like me. You need people like me so you can point your f***ing fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. A second look at a story we talked about in my previous video, how there seems to be a joint unification effort in the women's super bantamweight division, as Ellie Scottney is going to be unifying titles with Sigaline Lefavre. And apparently there's also an effort to put the two Mexican champions at this weight, Erika Cruz and Haney Mercado, in the ring with each other. Scottney versus Lefavre is part of a bigger goal set out by Matchroom Boxing to fully unify the junior featherweight division. WBA titleist Erika Cruz was previously tabbed to enter the mix, but is currently obligated to honor or settle her ordered mandatory title defense versus Argentina's Nazarena Romero, a fight that we've already discussed, already given a first look. For this unification match to happen, they have to convince Nazarena to step aside, get her blessing, and the WBA's blessing. The division's other remaining champion, Haney Mercado, who holds the WBC title, BoxingScene.com has learned that Cruz versus Mercado is also being explored, whether next or after Cruz satisfies her mandatory title defense. The Nazarena Romero fight, however, is a risky fight. It's a risky fight that Erika may not win. So with those things in mind, and the Mercado fight being a bigger fight for likely more money, and there's just more being in it. It's for 2 world titles, not just 1. If you're Erika, you likely want to have that Mercado fight ahead of that Nazarena Romero fight because it's for more world titles, it's likely for a bit more money, and it would have more of a profile south of the border than a Nazarena Romero fight. In a Nazarena Romero fight, it is a great fight, but it's not as big a fight. Wouldn't have the profile south of the border that a Mercado fight would have. Haney Mercado is this division's longest reigning champion, and she's really come into her own. You know that she's actually younger than all the other champions at the weight? Younger than Ellie, younger than Erika, younger than Sigaline. But she's been a champion longer than all of them. WBC Super Bantamweight champion as of November of 2019. What's that, roughly 5 years, going on 5 years? She's experienced. No, she's younger than all the other champions. She's really maturated as a fighter, maturated as a champion, and developed her base style. She used to be a brawler, but now she's more of a boxer-puncher. Judges distance a lot better, picking her punches. She doesn't just sell out and trade anymore. She does a lot more punch-picking and sharp-shooting. Situation calls for it. When she needs to, she can string some punches together. Put punches together, throw some combinations, and fight the other girl off. Say it all the time. Boxer punchers have a tactical advantage over pressure fighters because they can box when they need to and punch when they need to. They have the luxury of choice, whereas pressure fighters do the same thing. Yeah. Through and through. Yeah. Apply pressure, throw punches and bunches, and show aggression. Open up. They're gonna open up, which gives that boxer puncher all the countering opportunities they need to catch him in between. And Haney, to the eye, she's a lot more developed now than when I first saw her way back there in 2019 when she first became WBC champion. She was a lot more rough around the edges, whereas these days, she moves her feet, managing a distance, picks her punches, sets up good counter shots, walks her opponent into their punches, whereas Erika is now who she was then. Not a lot has changed about her. She's an aggressive fighter, a volume puncher with a very awkward style that comes in at a slight crouch, bending at the waist, bending at the knees, bringing over big looping shots. She's still a handful. Secret to beating her is alternating from offense to defense, the way boxer punchers often do, the way Haney Mercado now does. Yeah. They share a common opponent in Amanda Serrano, who they both fought up there at featherweight. They are now both campaigning as super bantamweight champions. Haney moved up in weight for that fight, and she lost that fight, but it didn't affect her status as a champion at 122 because the fight itself was at 126. So after she lost,
she moved back down.
What's important to note is that as young as she is, she's got a lot of experience, good experience. She went the distance with Amanda Serrano at 126.
Yeah.
Went the distance with Julissa Guzman at 122. That's the same Julissa Guzman that knocked out Ramla Ali in their first fight. Years before that,
Her and Yemi had a war. Yemi took some hard shots in that fight, but she weathered those punches, landed some hard shots of her own, and she won the fight.
gave Angelica Riscone her first professional loss. She was in there with a vet in Mariana Juarez, Bobby Juarez, the former champion. As stated, Yami's younger than all the other champions, but she has a lot more experience than they do. This is a fight that Erica Cruz could lose.
She could lose the Nazarena Romero fight as well, but the Mercado fight, well, it's for 2 alphabet titles instead of just 1, and it might pay better because it's a unification match. So if you're Erica, you want to have that Mercado fight.
We'll see if she does. We'll see if they can finagle a situation to where the 2 Mexican champions duke it out.
Remember that. You're not my friend. Your dad's a pimp and he pimping you. Your dad a pimp and he pimping you. I'm gonna beat 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 you. I'm reading everything. You soft. You soft. You soft. I already know you whack now. Your dad can't talk for you. Your dad can't save you.
Everybody know you really whack, nigga. You're whack.
Come up with something
you're
better,
whack.
bro.
No, you're
Hit
whack.
me, bro. That was whack.
Okay.
That was whack. You soft, bro. You
soft.
soft.
I've never
been
soft.
Soft.
I've never been soft.
We seen that video when
Okay.
Tank beat
Okay.
your ass.
Okay.
Floyd showed me he had your ass.
I beat the shit out of Tank.
Oh,
I beat the
stop.
shit
I
out
seen
you.
the video.
I beat the
Remember
shit
that?
out
I
you.
seen the video.
I beat the shit
I
out
seen
you.
the video.
Don't you
I
shit
seen-
out
You ain't gonna do
I see.
shit.
Okay.
You ain't gonna do shit.
Okay.
You look like a
Right.
ghost right
Okay.
now, bro.
Ghost.
Ghost, you getting hell for real, bro. You getting hell
Are you
for real.
crazy? Are you
are
crazy?
soft, bro.
Are you crazy?
You are so
Okay.
soft. I can
Okay.
see it.
We'll see.
Your breath
We'll
is
see.
just, I can
Okay.
hear you.
We'll see.
You're not like that, bro.
You're
fear
not
is-
like
the fear is
that.
getting
You're
to
not
you.
like that.
The fear is
You're not
getting
like
to you.
that.
The fear
I
is
just talked
getting
to you
to
last
you.
week.
The
You're
fear
not
is
like
getting
that.
to you.
I just talked to
The
you last
fear is
week.
getting to
You're
you.
not like
The
that.
fear is getting to
Okay.
you. I told you gonna feel some fear, right? Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell you you're gonna feel some fear you ain't felt? Thank you. No.
Good hustle, boys. It's good. It's good. It's a good way to sell the fight, get people talking, get people excited for the match. I think that the animosity, the would-be animosity between them, it's all rehearsed. It's all staged. They're not actually angry with each other. They're more like business partners in this situation, and they have a fight to sell. And they're doing just that. They're selling the fight, though I will say, I didn't think this would materialize because for the longest time now, Ryan Garcia has avoided this fight. He's walked away from it at least 2 times. So credit to him for finally biting the bullet and taking Devin on.
When he beat Luke Campbell years ago, that was a WBC final eliminator at lightweight, the crown and mandatory challenger for Devin Haney. And after he beat Luke, he didn't go through with the Haney fight.
He walked away from it saying that, belts didn't matter, belts didn't mean anything to him, and he wasn't interested in Devin at that time. And I can recall him walking away from the Haney fight at least one more time in recent years, though it doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter anymore. For whatever reason, he's decided to go through with the fight. I think he would have much preferred to fight Rolly Romero for his WBA title, to have that to bring to this fight, but things in the sport of boxing, things in the world of boxing,
They don't always happen when you want them to, the way you want them to. So you make do with what you've got. I feel like that's what Ryan is doing.
why specifically he's finally come around to having this fight, I'm really not sure. I'm not sure what his rationale is. It could be that he's just trying to get at the biggest fight for the biggest money that he can at this moment, and that is this fight. He wanted it to be the Romero fight, but that fell through, so now he's doing this.
Be the money. The money might have been what motivated him.
Now that both him and Devin have been on pay-per-view, could be the money that finally motivated him to do this thing. Could be that he's deluded, that he's out of his mind, that even though most of the boxing world doesn't like his chances in this fight, he likes his chances. And that is the mentality that a fighter is supposed to have. Even when the whole world doubts you, you still have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
When no one else does.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
He believes in himself.
Yeah.
He's backing himself.
Nothing else, it'll be good for his bank accounts. Both of their bank accounts, Ryan's and Devin's. It's good for DAZN. It's good for the DAZN platform that plans on billing this fight as a pay-per-view. Conservatively, I think it could do anywhere in between 300 to 500,000 pay-per-view buys. No, I'm not sure that it does what the Gervonta Davis fight did. Over $1 million?
I don't think it does that, but I think it'll do more buys than the upcoming Thurman versus Zoo fight. I think it'll do more buys than the vast majority of Gervonta Davis's fights, save the last one.
That was with Ryan. If Gervonta Davis is not careful, depending on who he fights next, this fight might do more buys than Gervonta Davis's next fight. It all depends on who he fights, because you're not going to go out there and do over 1 million pay-per-view buys with everybody, with just anybody.
This fight, I think conservatively, I think it's going to do well. Anywhere in between 300 to 500,000 pay-per-view buys. Hell, maybe a little more, because Devin's star is rising. He's gaining momentum, growing in popularity.
Little by little, inch by inch, fight by fight. Even if I don't think he beat Vasyl Lomachenko legitimately, some people do. And that adds to his profile. Tack on the Regis Prograis performance, which was a lot more dominant, a lot more decisive. His pay-per-view debut.
This is a bigger fight than that one. Even if that opponent was a more solid opponent than Ryan Garcia, a more proven opponent than Ryan Garcia, a two-time super lightweight champion.
Ryan has more of a profile. Even if he's not a more proven fighter, he is more popular. This is more of a business fight than a legacy fight, a business move than a legacy move. And how many super lightweights, how many super lightweight champions wouldn't love to get Ryan Garcia in the ring? As it stands, Devin's got him. One of the most sought-after fights anywhere at or around these weights. Looking at that, Rolly Romero really blew it. I mean, he really fucking blew it.
Guy's stupid. You let them convince you to box Isaac Cruz on a co-main event when you could have fought Ryan in the main event.
Already been some strong additions to the DAZN schedule. The upcoming Joshua versus Ngannou fight. The upcoming Fury versus Usyk undisputed heavyweight title fight. And now this?
Credit to both boys. Credit to both Devin and Ryan for getting it done. It took them long enough, but they finally did it.
Credit to Oscar De La Hoya for not letting hard feelings and promotional politics get in the way of a major fight. I don't think it's going to end well for his fighter. I don't think that.
Matchroom does seem to be involved to the extent that they're representing Devin Haney here, but it looks like this is a Golden Boy show. In Vegas? They're based out of Vegas now, and this looks like it's going to be a Golden Boy promotion.
It's not clear to me. There are a lot of fingers in this pie. Golden Boy Promotions, Matchroom, DHP, that's Devin Haney Promotions.
Ryan's going to lose.
Yeah, I think he's going to lose. Of course he's going to lose, but it's still a big fight, and it's still a big show, and that's what you want.
Well, it's a done deal. Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia, April the 20th, live on DAZN pay-per-view. It's an absolute monster. Devin Haney fast becoming the face of boxing. Perfect fight for Devin, perfect fight for Ryan, perfect fight for boxing, perfect fight for DAZN. Do not miss it. What a fight to add to the DAZN schedule.
Think about that, and you think about what else Eddie Hearn is working on. He's revealed that he's now made Gervonta Davis an 8-figure offer with an upside to face Benn next. And you want to pay attention to that, who the money is coming from, because that would tell you where the fight would take place if it does materialize. And I understand that we've got reason enough to believe this fight could fall apart, that it could be dead on arrival.
Because Gervonta's probably just fucking around, or maybe he doesn't like the money, it's not the number that he wants, or the weight stipulations. We know that he's used them in the past.
He has.
Maybe he wants to use them again and Conor's not on board. Be any number of things that cause this fight to fall apart.
Let's entertain for a second that it actually gets made, that it actually happens. I mean, DAZN, Matchroom, and Golden Boy, they surprised us with this recent announcement. I didn't actually think Ryan would take this fight with Devin, but he did. So what if Gervonta takes this fight with Conor? What if that's the next big announcement, the next big surprise?
That's a horrible look for the PBC. For the PBC, Al Heyman, what's supposed to be this big Amazon deal. How big could it be if Gervonta Davis jumps ship before he boxes on that platform?
That would be one less fight for Frank Martin, one less fight for Rayo, one less fight for the winner of Romero versus Cruz. They've got to have it in their head that winning that fight would bring them closer to a Gervonta Davis rematch. Well, not if he crosses over to DAZN and he's boxing Benn.
When did DAZN debut in America? What year was that? 2018? For the last 5 or 6 years, the people at the PBC have been trashing DAZN,
Yeah.
trashing Matchroom, their presence in America,
Yeah.
and Eddie Hearn's ability to promote. It would be a full 180 if Gervonta Davis ends up crossing over there after all is said and done.
Rumor has it could be a multi-fight deal, like a 2-fight deal or a 3-fight deal. I saw that idea being bounced around, though it's all just speculation. All we know officially is that Matchroom wants to make Benn versus Gervonta Davis, which could be a segue to a Devin Haney fight. If Devin takes care of business with Ryan and Gervonta takes care of business with Conor, they could do the fight between them for a lot of money. And the fight's profile will have increased by that time, so it could be a very big fight.
Devin's star is rising, so just imagine what a high-profile win over Ryan might do for the marquee value of this Gervonta Davis fight. And I know that I've often said I don't think Gervonta's ever gonna fight Devin, but we're just postulating, we're just bouncing ideas around. What could it mean for the future if Gervonta Davis actually does this? If he does cross over.
In that situation, that hypothetical scenario, one of the biggest fights out there for him, if not the biggest fight out there for him, it would be a Devin Haney fight. Bigger than a Romero rematch or an Isaac Cruz rematch for a WBA title. This would be bigger than that.
Certainly bigger than a Rayo fight or a Frank Martin fight.
There's reason enough to believe that it might not happen, but what reason is there to believe that it might happen, that it could, that it would? And instability on the PBC side of things is at least one reason. That all they have with Amazon is a distribution deal, and they can't provide guarantees to the fighters.
They're trying to get a second broadcast partner to fulfill a more traditional role for them, but as it stands, that hasn't happened yet. And Gervonta, maybe he doesn't want to wait around for that to happen. If you can't provide him with no guarantee, he's going to jump ship. He made a lot of money in the Ryan Garcia fight. He wants to keep making money.
Could be one reason that he crosses over. Another reason is that he's no longer with Mayweather Promotions. We know that he parted ways with them last year, and he's not with them anymore. So between no guarantees and him not being with Mayweather, then why would he stay over there? Who could stop him from crossing over? Bear in mind that I'm just bouncing ideas around.
Reason enough to believe that he won't do it. So for what reason should we believe that he would?
As long as he's been with Mayweather Promotions, he's been wrapped in a protective cocoon. But if he's not with Mayweather anymore, maybe now he has more autonomy, more control over his own career. I don't know. He was discontent with his time at Mayweather Promotions for the longest time, and last year he finally broke away from Mayweather Promotions. So here today, and what the PBC is currently facing, their situation, maybe that might leave him so inclined to go somewhere else in the event that he does. We still don't know that he will.
It's just something to think about.
Other PBC fighters have already jumped ship. Wilder, Frankie Sanchez, Ray Vargas, Subriel Matias, few other fighters and former champions have already jumped ship. Could Gervonta Davis be the next? We'll see on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.